Now, a couple of weeks ago on Front Row, we devoted a programme to the American novelist A.N. Holmes, who I described as perfect lockdown reading because she made me laugh out loud, which I really need right now. Fortunately, I now have a list of 7 other funny books written by women. The first Comedy Women in Print Prize, set up by Helen Lederer, was awarded last year. Today, they have announced the 2020 shortlist of comic novels. And I'm just going to read those out. There's Frankenstein by Jeanette Winterson, inspired by Shelley's Gothic classic. And the judges talked about her laugh-out-loud set pieces about sex dolls. We have The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Amy Waxman. A millennial who works in a bookshop starts a new chapter in her life when the father she never knew dies. Big Girl, Small Town by Irish writer Michelle Gallen. The Blessed Girl by South African writer Angela McCollough, a razor-sharp social satire on men, mental health and money in today's Johannesburg. Reasons to be Cheerful by Nina Stibbe, the third novel of this very popular semi-autobiographical trilogy. The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary, a best-selling debut about unconventional living arrangements for London millennials, and Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams, a best-selling novel about a young black woman looking for love, which drew comparisons with Bridget Jones. And to discuss those 7 shortlisted novels, I'm joined by one of the judges for the Comic Novel Prize, the comedian Lolly Adefope. Lolly, just give us a sense of the range of humour represented in this shortlist.
Yeah, it's really diverse. So there are some novels that are a lot darker than others. Some deal with topics in a much lighter way. And there's a really wide range of themes as well. So there's mental health, gentrification in South London, artificial intelligence, gender, money. But we're really impressed by the fact that some of these subjects are darker than others, but all of the authors handle them with humour in really interesting ways.
Yeah, because, some of the subjects are not obviously humorous, are they?
No, yeah, some of them are quite dark. There are some books that wouldn't seem...
Which ones, for instance, were on that list are darker than others?
I think probably Frankenstein deals with much more heavy, serious topics. Queenie also deals with topics like mental health in the black community, gentrification of South London, things like that wouldn't immediately seem hilarious, but all of the authors managed to make them funny and managed to turn those subjects into something that can be humorous.
And which one's the lighter for those people who want to go something lighter?
Maybe, I don't know, they've all kind of got a mixture, I guess. They all kind of have light and shade.
Are you
maybe Big Girl Small Town? But I think they've all got they're all quite
Big
diverse.
Girl Small Town by Michelle Gallen. Yeah,
but don't hold me to that. They're all quite complex. Yeah.
And are you an avid reader of all literature, or do you find yourself gravitating to humorous books?
I think I read quite a lot of different books, but I'm always on the lookout for funny books. And I think that for some reason, it's not something that's considered as literary, maybe, as other books. I think in general, when we think about books and we talk about recommendations, humour isn't necessarily the one thing that we point to the most, which is why I think this is really important and really useful to have this.
I mean, but why do we need a prize for women writing humour? I mean, isn't it a case that very few humorous novels have won literary prizes, whether written by men or women? I mean, Howard Jacobson has complained about this in the past. I mean, isn't it all humour in a way is let down by literary prizes, not just humour written by women?
Yeah, I think all humour, but also, there's the age-old debate of are women funny, which for some reason is still present, even though we're in 2020. So I think it's always important to shine a light onto women writing and like the diversity within women writing. There's no real like female humour. It's just about the fact that women are funny, and whatever theme it is that they're writing about, women have the ability to, tackle a range of topics and turn them into humour as well.
And do you think there's anything distinctive about female humour?
No, I don't really think there's any such thing as female humour, really. I think
you're slightly undermining the prize there, aren't you?
Well, as in there's funny writing by women, which is what the prize is. But I don't think there's a specific female humour. I think from the shortlist, you can see that women aren't afraid to tackle any subject and aren't afraid to, tackle darker subjects. And yeah, there's a lot of diversity within that shortlist and within funny women writing anyway. So I think there isn't one thing that defines female humour.
So you mentioned several times the sort of diversity of perspectives, I suppose, in the shortlist. Could you give us some examples?
Diversity of perspective. I guess.
Well, I suppose you've got Ireland, you've got South Africa, you've got Gothic.
Yeah, it's a global list. There's Queenie, for example, deals with topics that I think I haven't necessarily seen in humour writing. So mental health in the Black community is something that is starting to be talked about more, but definitely not enough. Also the microaggressions, racial microaggressions that, again, because of what's going on in the world at the moment, is starting to come to the fore a little bit more. And then also in The Blessed Girl, it's about money and the power structures of men and women in Johannesburg. So there's a lot of different themes going on, and a lot of different ways to make those things funny, I think.
And just briefly, do you think that people will be reading more humour at the moment, given what's happening in the world?
Yeah, I think so. I think the fact that we don't have access to live comedy and theatre and cinema as methods of escape and distraction, I think books are probably the one reliable way that we can escape and kind of avoid what's going on in the world at the moment. I agree.
Lolly Adefope, thank you very much. And you can find the shortlist for that comic novel prize on the Front Row homepage, and the winner will be announced on the 14th of September.